This is episode G for Gale Center, and I'm here with Maren, the head curator there. And so we'll just jump right in. This is A is for Adversity, a podcast about navigating the obstacles in life. Thanks for joining us this season as we talk about how a community can help. I'm Jen.
And I'm Rachel. We're here to be a part of your community this year as we learn together.
Would you introduce yourself to us a little bit, Maren?
Yeah. So my name is Maren Svare, and I'm the curator here at the Gale Center of History and Culture. I've been with the city for about 4 years now, and I've been working in museums for just over 10 years. I've worked in museums here in Utah, and then I worked in New Mexico as well at the Maxwell Museum of Anthropology in Albuquerque. And that was where I worked as like a graduate student and also as a staff member after I graduated. So
that's so neat. And then how did you get started with the Gale Center? Did you just see that they were hiring, or did you work in a different position before being the head curator?
So I was actually working kind of a midterm job here in the Valley, and a friend of mine who also worked there lives in Daybreak. And she knew I was looking for a museum position. And so she let me know that the Gale Center existed because I hadn't known that before. And so I definitely applied immediately. And yes. I was very excited to get the position.
That is so awesome. Yeah. And I imagine that's common with residents around here. They may not have heard of the Gale Center. Can you tell us a little bit about it and how it began?
Yeah. So the Gale Center opened in July of 2005. Before that, this building was actually the county library. So we still get people who walk in trying to return their kids' books or something.
That's
It's always entertaining.
Yes.
So yeah, we've been a museum for 18 years, and we're part of the city of South Jordan. We live under the recreation department, and we're a history museum. And we specialize in South Jordan history from about 1850 to 1950. And the museum was really a labor of love from a very dedicated volunteer group of community residents that really felt it was important to preserve our history. And so they banded together with the city, and the Gale Center was born. And a lot of those original volunteers still volunteer here almost 18 years later, which is fantastic. And we could not operate without them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know when I visited the Gale Center, I met with, I believe it was Jean. Is that her name?
Yeah. She's one of those original fabulous people.
Yeah, she's so knowledgeable, and it was a treat to talk to her, she was a living example of the history, like you said, and all the donations and the stories behind them. It was fascinating to learn about. Why do you think it's important for a museum to belong to a community?
I'm big into like bullet points, so I'll give you like 3 bullet points.
Yeah.
The first one is that like museums hold collections from the community for the community. So in this case, we have historical artifacts from South Jordan, and we are displaying them for South Jordan's current residents and anyone else who obviously wants to come. We don't kick out people from Riverton. So yeah, we're really like by the community for the community. And secondly, I would say we offer a lot of educational programming, particularly in the form of like tours and then our monthly museum mashup craft kits. We really focus on like pre-K and early elementary education in those areas because like free exploration and creative play are something that kids really need. And we provide like a free local place to do that where they can both learn about like the basics of what a pioneer era schoolhouse looks like, while at the same time learning to like make friends and operate in different environments. So yeah, a lot of like education and outreach. And then museums offer space. So we host traveling exhibits or other things that the city is putting on, like every spring in March and April, we host the South Jordan Art Show. So that's fantastic. And it's really big and people can come and look at things. We also work with the Arts Council to provide space for the artists on display. Every month we have a different artist that we have on display in the museum. And we also have space for just traveling exhibits that have come through in the past.
That's awesome. Yeah, all such good points. I love that. And when I visited the Gale Center with my boys, I loved how hands-on it was, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
and just that exploratory being in the culture and the history.
Yeah,
So how can people in the community best support a museum?
that is a great question. And again, I'll give you three three bullet
I
points.
love it.
And the first one would be to visit as frequently as you want to slash can. And the reason for that is not just that we want you to have a really good experience and like we want you to come back because you're having a good experience. But museums in general rely heavily on grant money and monetary donations for their support. So when we're writing grants to bring in money to do educational programs, those funders want to see our engagement and attendance numbers, and they want to see them growing. They want to see them strong. And so the better we perform, the more resources we get to continue performing.
Mm,
So visiting, signing in, we love it.
yeah.
And the second thing would be really to spread the word to your friends and families, whether that's through word of mouth, Facebook groups, or like reviews on Google.
Mm,
We get more traction, both with like bringing in new visitors and retaining previous visitors through word of mouth than by any kind of other advertising I put out.
mm,
So
yes.
yeah, so the community is really like vital in spreading the word.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would say to support museums is to just be really compassionate. Museums are, like I said, a labor of love, and the museum workers and the volunteers are doing their best. But sometimes it can be a lot to take care of. So
Yes.
we appreciate people remembering that we're human and we're trying our best. And if you see something, please let us know, and we'll definitely take care of it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know when I met you, you were very busy, very involved with the Sojo Summerfest. So,
Yes.
what did it look like for you guys on your end to be a part of that?
So I'm the only staff member with the museum, but as part of the larger recreation team, I get to also be part of the larger events that the city puts on. And so we just had our Sojo Summerfest, which is always the first weekend in June. And I get to help with certain aspects of that. I get assigned to certain tasks or things. And also the event staff uses our building as like staging for all the myriad of things that they have to like take to the different venues and bring back. So we try to support the events team in that way.
Wow, yeah, it's interesting to hear behind the scenes because you don't always
Yeah,
get to see that side of it.
yeah.
Yeah. What would you say is one of your favorite inspirational quotes? I always enjoy asking people that question.
hmm So I'm going to give you a throwback.
Okay.
We're going back to The Incredibles.
Okay.
Um, my one of my favorite quotes is from Elastigirl, and she's talking to her daughter Violet, and she says, "Doubt is a luxury we can't afford." She tells Violet this in a moment where like Violet's superpowers, like she just couldn't access them in a moment of need, and it was because she very rightfully was like experiencing some doubt. And while we don't have superpowers, at least not that I know of, we do have intuition and logic, and letting doubt creep in and take over those things and take them away from us, that just deprives us of opportunities and like cancels out our capabilities and skill sets. And so I just don't want doubt to like ever take away what I have, what
Hmm.
I'm capable of. So that remains like one of my favorite quotes, and a favorite movie. It's
Yes,
a good
for
movie.
sure. Yeah, that's a great one. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing. So, would you say that you've found more community as you've been the head curator at the museum? What does that look like for you? What kind of community has that brought?
Yes, a lot. Um, Both internally with the recreation department and other departments in the city who are fantastic to work with, but also with residents, both in South Jordan and in surrounding communities. We've become a real hotspot for that, like pre-K, early elementary age demographic. And we have a lot of moms who bring in their kids on play dates, homeschools, like the fact that parents can come and like have their own interactions while their kids are having interactions, that's really special. And because we're so hands-on. We've also got a lot of visitors who come in that are both like day groups and care groups and respite groups from like autistic groups, adult disability groups, and they come in and they can have the time of their lives because it's a very safe environment for them to explore hands-on and see things. And I really just love that we can provide that kind of space because other museums sometimes are less hands-on, which excludes a lot of like learning accessibility needs that some people have. So I really love that we can offer that.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the museum or share with the audience?
Just that you should come. I'll just tell you our hours real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're open Tuesdays through Thursdays, 10 to 6. And then on Fridays, 10 to 4. We are closed for major holidays. And we're free, so you can come as much as you want.
Yes.
Every month we have a free craft kit that's available while supplies last. If you happen to come in after we've run out, we do always offer the option of going online and getting the supply list and the instruction sheet and doing it on your own. We also have monthly activities in-house for kids that change on a monthly basis, like coloring and scavenger hunts. So we're just a really good place to come, whether it's raining or you want your, scout group or youth group to learn a little bit about South Jordan's history. You can call and schedule a tour with us too. We don't care how young or old you are. We'll give you a tour.
Yes, that's so perfect. Well, Thank you so much for your time and for your information. After this interview, in the rest of the podcast, I'll continue to gush about the Gale Center because it was just a fabulous time and just a lovely surprise because I wasn't expecting such a rich cultural experience in the little city of South Jordan. Well, not little, but city of South Jordan.
We're growing.
Yes, for sure. I know. I remember Jean was saying back when South Jordan started, it was a very low population. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
it was tiny.
Yeah, and then now it's grown so much. So it's interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Yes.
We're really excited to get the word out.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, well, thanks again and have a good weekend.
Yeah, see you later.
What a great conversation. I love being able to tap into the expertise of others and what they're passionate about and the things that they've learned. I hope that you will go check out the Gale Center, whether you've been there before or you haven't been there in a while, or you've never been there. This is a great time while it's summer and hot outside to go indoors and see some of the history of South Jordan and really get that hands-on experience. I have my oldest here with me, Rowan, and I'm going to have him share his favorite part of the Gale Center.
I liked a farm place.
What did you like about the farm place?
I liked driving in cars.
Yeah. And did you like seeing the chickens and the farmhouse?
Mm-hmm.
And what did they have you do by the pretend river?
Fish.
Yeah. With magnets, huh?
Yeah.
What else did you like about the Gale Center?
That the train came out of 2 tunnels.
Yeah, I think Brant really liked that too, huh? He went back and he watched it again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what they had you do? What did they have you find in the Gale Center?
Hearts.
Yeah, you went on a little scavenger hunt, huh? That's awesome. Did you love finding each part? But we got stuck a little bit, huh? We had to go ask for some hints.
Yeah.
But the workers were really nice, huh?
And I got some stickers at the end.
Yeah, so good. Okay, thanks, Rowan.
Mm-hmm.
As Maren said, and as I experienced, it really is great with some little kiddos in tow. So bring your own kids, your grandkids, a neighbor kid, or if that's not possible, just go by yourself. And I promise that you'll have I can't promise, but I know that you'll have a great experience if you have your mind put towards it. Let's go support our local museums. Are you a busy woman who wants to maintain your identity? I want to remind you about the Sunshine Community, where we're doing just that. It doesn't take a whole lot on your part, and it's a curated community just for you. Find more about it at asforadversity.com/boost. Talk to you again next week.